Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode of Mocktail Minutes. This is Bailey.
And this is Brianna.
This week, I am drinking a lemon lime good pop. I like them. They're pretty good. They are a little higher in, sugar, but it's just because it's just juice. But I tried the orange one too. I did not love the orange. This lemon lime one is much better.
What is it? Like a
It's like
gut
a
health one?
sparkling, it's just like a bubbly water with juice.
Okay, yeah.
Just carbonated water and juice. That's all it is.
I'm doing a Juni, one of those like sparkling tea. It's like a sparkling green tea. It's not super carbonated, but I guess it's still sparkling. But it's pretty good. It's the raspberry. I actually like this one.
Oh.
Adaptogen tea. That's very hard to say.
Does not roll off the tongue.
No. But yeah, I like it. I've had a couple others now.
Nice. Well, today we're talking about how to get 100 grams of protein in. This seems to be a common struggle where, yes, protein has gotten a lot of hype lately, but we're still struggling with we know to get it, how do we get it type of thing. So 100 grams, I think, is a good starting spot for all adults. There's people that do need more. I personally try to get closer to like 120 grams of
Mhm.
protein, but doing this 100 grams of protein will help with muscle maintenance and growth. It helps you stay more satisfied with your meals, so less snacking. It
Yep.
helps support your metabolism, it boosts it, and it's going to aid in recovery, especially if you are someone who is working out.
Yes. And every time I say like aim for 100, the majority of people panic because they're like, oh my gosh, that's so much. So I feel like if you think about your meals across the day, it's not really too crazy. If you're thinking like
Mhm.
around 30 at a meal or maybe 25 to 30 at a meal, and then a snack of, like 10 to 20, because that's normal. Like people need 3 meals a day and at least one snack. And so I feel like if you think about, okay, let me spread it out, it's much easier. I see the majority of people have no issue with protein at dinner. Like I feel like people could
Yeah.
easily get in like 40 plus grams at dinner without even realizing it. But they're like none at breakfast. So it's just, you're already maybe close, just shifting it.
hmm
Yeah.
so I break it down. It's about 30 at breakfast, 40 at lunch and dinner, and then a snack, which is around 10 grams of protein.
Yeah.
That's what works for me. I think it is almost easier to have a lower amount at breakfast just because your typical foods, they don't have a lot of protein to it.
Yeah.
So just making it more realistic there. And when you're thinking about this meal by meal breakdown, also, and you might look at this differently, but I honestly don't like if I only get 20 grams of breakfast, I don't worry about kind of like making up for it at
Oh,
lunch
I see what you mean. Yeah. No. No,
because
because
I
I
think that,
find like naturally I'll kind of do that. Like if I have a little bit of like lower protein breakfast, I feel like come snack time, I'm probably gonna have a little bit higher protein snack.
mhm,
I'm also not
yeah.
gonna panic if I'm a slightly under 100.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you're full at like lunch and you get 40 grams, then you're full, but you're like, oh my gosh, I still need 10 grams, so I didn't get it at breakfast. I don't think you need to necessarily overstuff yourself if you're not hungry for it. It's okay for your things to fluctuate throughout the day, well, even just on a day-to-day basis. So I just take it meal by meal because it becomes stressful too with being like,
Yeah.
okay, breakfast I missed 10, lunch I missed 5, okay, now dinner I have to make up for 15 grams, but I'm already getting 4. Like, it's too
No,
much.
it's too much.
Just
And I'm not
aim for
tracking to really be like, oh gosh. And I think that's the whole like hit your macros, like, yeah, aim for it. But yeah, you don't need to be wild about it. Or like stuffing your face. Like sometimes I'll have people do this, like force feeding themselves at the end of the day to like hit the 100. I'm like, okay, that's probably not necessary.
Yeah, it's
Unless
completely normal for your needs to fluctuate for you to feel hungrier or less hungry from a day-to-day basis. So we give guidelines to people that we work with, but I'm also not like, if you don't meet these guidelines, you suck. Like,
yeah.
you do your best to get there. If you're like not hungry, don't overstuff yourself. If you're like, okay, I'm too full, it's okay to dial it back and listen to your body at the same time. It's really just finding a balance of all that.
Yeah. Well, and I think it comes to trusting yourself. And I think that's what people are scared of. So this will get easier over time. Like when you start to trust yourself and you're like, oh, okay, everything's going to be okay. But we have a lot of rule followers that are like, I want to do it right. You're going to be okay.
Hmm.
I feel like for breakfast, you're right. There is a lot of your traditional breakfast foods aren't super high in protein. Like eggs are like 6 grams per egg. And I feel like people are like, oh, I got like 2 eggs at breakfast. Like it was great protein. It's like 12 grams. So it's not. So you have to get kind of like creative with it. This is where a protein shake or like a good quality protein powder can come in to easily fill in the gaps if you don't like eating in the morning. But I do like to try to point out ways that people can get in 100 grams of protein without a protein powder because it is you are able to do it. You could do like Greek yogurt, or I think Siggy's has a good like dairy-free high protein yogurt.
I don't think I've seen it with the protein in it. I'll have to look again
Yeah.
because I know it's a coconut based one. You know what? They might have a pea protein one.
I think they do have a pea protein one, and that one's
That might
actually
be it.
pretty high. Other than that, I mean, because a lot of the protein's coming from dairy. So
Yeah.
we have dairy.
Silk
Cottage
has like
cheese.
a Greek yogurt style dairy free one, but I think the added sugars might be high in that one. There's something in it that I didn't love,
Yeah.
but
I think that's how
they
the
do.
Siggy's one is too. It's a little bit higher,
Yeah,
but the
that
protein
might
is
be
so
it.
high. So it's like, but like, yeah, cottage cheese, egg whites. So like if you don't have
Hmm.
5 eggs, you could do like 2 eggs and maybe some egg white.
Just buy the carton of liquid egg whites. For a little bit, did 3 whole eggs and then the chicken sausage link, like the big
Mhm.
ones. So the 3 eggs, you're getting about 20 grams of protein there. And then the chicken sausage links, they were 14 grams of protein.
Yeah.
So then I was at 34. And then I just put some veggies sauteed in it. And then I did some fruit. That was
Yeah.
breakfast for a
I
week.
like chicken sausage. I like is it Amy Lou
Hmm.
brand?
That's
Those
the
are
one.
like a really good, clean
Yeah.
sausage. And it actually
That
tastes
one, and
good.
yes. And the Never Any brand.
Yes. So it's like those are easy. Also, like adding collagen to your coffee. Like if you're a coffee drinker, adding collagen or making like a protein coffee is a really easy way to get in like 10 to 20 grams. Yes, that can count towards your protein. Everyone's always like, I can't because it doesn't have all the amino acids. It's missing tryptophan and it's a little bit lower in leucine. So don't only have collagen in your coffee and be like, I got my 20 grams at breakfast. Like, no, but you can definitely add it, count towards your protein for the day.
Yeah, because that's always collagen is always something we get questions about. Yeah, you're not gonna like I always say kind of use that as your bonus. I think it's a good spot to at least get like 20, I mean ideally like 30 grams of protein from your animal protein. And
Mhm.
then when you're aiming for closer to like 30 plus, then use that collagen as a bonus or use it as your snack, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to use it because it's not really supporting muscle building. It's because the animal protein is going to support more muscle building and has that leucine in it to trigger muscle protein synthesis.
Yeah.
Collagen is going to be more for like skin, hair, nails, joint, gut health. Well, yeah, gut health with your gut lining. So it's still a good one to include. It's just not that full protein source because it's missing some of those amino acids.
Yeah.
So you get a variety in and you'd be good to go.
Yeah. So I just think about like, okay, breakfast, what am I already doing? What can I add to it? If you want to add some milk to your coffee, you can. I think people are a little bit scared of milk, but I mean,
Yeah,
if you can have milk, I mean, milk has great protein in it. You can add like nut butters to things. Again, we're not relying on nut butter for our protein source, but it has some in there. So just
that
know,
bonus.
yeah, just knowing like, okay, I am getting a little bit from here. So, but just thinking, what can I add to what I'm already doing?
Now, if you are doing like 2 eggs and toast type of thing, and you're not sure how to increase it because you're already really full, this is where I do think it could be helpful to start with like a protein shake in addition to it. Even like a half of one, most of them are going to be 20 grams of protein per serving. So if you did 2 eggs, about 12 grams of protein there, and you did half of a shake, that's 10 grams of protein. Then, okay, we're looking better. We're around 22.
Yeah.
So that could be a way to slowly build it up because that liquid is going to be easier to digest. It's not going to be, I mean, when you chew food, it's, what am I trying to say here?
It's
Liquid
just
is, Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a lot easy.
Feel more full.
Yes, it's a lot easier to get in some extra liquid and you're trying to boost that protein and you don't have a huge appetite than it is to like eat three more eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Or
let's start
I like that. Or thinking again, like what can you add in, right? Like if you're like, okay, I could do kind of a small protein shake, but can I add in like pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds or
there.
honey?
Yeah.
Like little things that like, okay, I'm really amping up the protein, but again, my volume is low.
Hmm.
I like that.
And it can also go the other way too, where if you're focusing on too much liquid calories, that's where it can lead to weight gain because if you're always just like focusing on I gotta get my macros, gotta get my macros, and you're just downing three protein shakes a day, you probably don't need that. Like focus on the foods first and then just kind of supplement as needed. Make it make sense type of thing.
Yeah. For lunch, I feel like this is easier, but I like to just think, okay, and not everybody like agrees, but I do like to think like, what's my protein? Like, and then build around it. Like I need protein, but
Mhm.
what complements that protein? Like, can I have a salad or a wrap or a bowl or like, protein? Where's all my veggies? Let me do a fiber rich carb. I know that sounds easier than it is, I guess, because when I say it, I'm like, duh, but I understand people have a hard time with that. So I'm thinking like tuna, rotisserie chicken or chicken salad, regular chicken, turkey, like I mean, tofu is another one. What's like other chicken? I do like tuna or chicken. So,
Hard boiled eggs,
oh
ground
yeah.
turkey, that's what I do. I do a lot
Mhm.
of ground turkey for lunch because no one else in my family will eat it. So it's like that's when I'm gonna get it in. Deli meat, that can also work. I've done that. Those are kind of the main things. But that is a good point to kind of make it a protein centered lunch. I think a lot of times we start with the carb, the start to carb.
Yes.
So start with the protein, then your veggie, then your carb. And that's honestly how we meal plan. Josh kind of goes through and puts down what type of protein we're gonna have that night. I go through and make it a meal type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Men are good at that. Like I got dinner and it's like meat. I'm like,
I got
cool.
a steak.
What are we having with it? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. We used to make fun of my dad all the time because like if he was in charge of dinner, it'd be like, here, I made pork chops. And we're like, okay, like what are we having with it? And he's like,
Uh,
goldfish.
goldfish. Like just eat the pork chop. Like, what's the problem? Yeah, thinking like I think brought up hard boiled eggs because I think that's an easy one you can add to snacks or meals and it bumps it up. So maybe that's like a good point to make is like what things can we sprinkle into meals? Like if you're having a salad, you can totally add some egg on it. You can add some seeds on it. You can make a veggie dip that has like a yogurt based dip or something like that. Again, I'm boring and I also eat dairy, but like adding a scoop of cottage cheese totally is just an easy way to bump up protein at a lot of meals. Do that, but I'm just like, okay, knowing what has protein in it is going to help you really be able to figure out, okay, how can I just bump this up? Because really, once you know your sources of protein, it's pretty simple to be like, oh, I can easily get 20 to 30 grams in a meal. I just need to know what had protein in it.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, we went over a lot of sources. I would say the hardest part about being dairy free is those quick protein options.
Yeah.
So we'll keep meatballs, like frozen meatballs on
Yeah.
hand. I like to buy the turkey ones. It's just a little bit lower in fat. It is hard to get enough protein though, I will say, from those and also not overdo it on the fat.
Yeah.
So just something to kind of keep in mind there, but it's also great to have when you need something quick. You haven't made it to the grocery store. But thinking about your animal sources, chicken, beef, turkey, eggs,
Mm-hmm.
and all different forms too. Like you can do ground chicken, you can do chicken breast, you can do chicken wings, you can do chicken thighs. I was like, there's another type of chicken. I do not like chicken thighs, but
It depends on what it's with. I don't know. I'm weird about it too. That's just me. It's just like a texture thing, I think. I don't know. And then thinking like, okay, what are plant sources of protein? Because when you're thinking of like, for example, like what carbohydrate am I going to add to this meal? I'm looking for a fiber rich one, like adding things like beans are high in fiber, but they're also high in protein. So you can bump up your protein.
hmm
Okay. Edamame is another really good one. You can, like the little edamame beans. You can
Yeah.
those
I
like
like to buy those frozen.
me too. And then I
Hmm.
just steam them and then I'll sprinkle them onto things.
Yeah.
But that's a good
Chickpea
source.
pasta, fantastic.
Yep.
And same thing with like these plant-based sources, use them as like a bonus. Don't like, I wouldn't get 30 grams of protein from chickpea pasta. It's also a lot of fiber for you to do that.
It would be a lot of fiber. It's also a lot of carbs,
Yes.
which is where I'm when people want to be only plant-based, if they're like, oh, I am only plant-based, but they have maybe an issue with tolerating carbs, and like, okay, we got to get creative about this because it is a lot of carbs. Like if you try to get 30 grams of or protein from beans, that's a lot of carbs. It's also not a complete protein. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, so just being careful with that too. And that's why it could be good to know, okay, what all has protein so that you're not, I think that's the ticket is not relying on one source.
Hmm. Having the variety and use a combination.
Mhm.
So, what is something? Kielbasa sausage. So, like the turkey sausage, I will buy that. Again, it's hard to get enough protein without overdoing it on fat because usually with that too, like we're doing roasted vegetables or like some type of sauteed something with oil. So, when we do that, I like to add like frozen shrimp to it. That's super easy to keep on hand and you just kind of saute it up with everything. So, combinations I think are really helpful as well. Same thing
Yeah.
with like yogurt when you're adding the hemp seeds or the nuts or whatever it is. That's going to make it easier if you don't want to do like a cup and a half of Greek yogurt.
Yeah. Like
But
me.
you
I'm like,
can if
oh,
you want.
it's kind of a lot. Yeah. Just like that. Like for me, I'd rather have variety, make it fun. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's what I do. But definitely like your nuts and seeds. You do bring up a good point about the fat. I think that's something to be mindful of when you're trying to increase your protein because there is a lot of times where people will only look at protein and maybe you're just starting out and that's the only thing you can focus on, fine. But just knowing like, okay, let me also double check the fat because it is very easy to go over in fat, especially when you're doing some more of those animal based ones. Like meatballs is such a good example. I don't know what it is about meatballs.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And I even buy like the ones with turkey in it.
Because
They
I'm
are
thinking
lower in
like
fat.
ground turkey, it's so easy to get your protein from it and it's not a lot of fat. But
Yeah,
then you do like meatballs. Like, oh,
totally different.
yeah,
And I wonder if like a homemade meatball like would be different. I don't
maybe.
know.
I need to play around with it. I need to get
Well,
more
maybe because
diets.
like a lot of them have egg in it too, so the yolk could be
Hmm.
contributing to fat too.
Yeah, whatever they're using to like keep it
Meatballs are weird.
together. Yeah, whatever they're using to keep it together, it's probably like a fat source.
Yeah. But usually, like, even the frozen ones, like once you de-thaw them and heat them up, they do kind of get greasy. So,
It's interesting. But yeah, just checking like, okay, let me double check the fat, make it simple. But
well, speaking of
definitely
meatballs, that is a good point. So I use those for snacks sometimes because it's hard to get that 40 grams in there. So I will use them for a snack to get like 10 grams of
I like
protein.
snacks like that. I don't know. That's fun.
Yeah.
Fun to
Because a
me.
lot of times we think about snacks as like chips or like granola bar type thing, where you can eat normal foods like a meatball and that can be your snack.
Yeah.
So using your snacks will help increase your protein as well without needing to get more and more and more at your meals. So that's
Hmm.
where it helps me just to kind of split that up, do
Yeah.
breakfast lower, add a little 10 to 20-gram protein snack.
Yeah. And I'm always recommending people have protein at their snacks.
Hmm.
Like always, no matter what your goal is, I think it's just a good idea because if you're thinking about it, your snack is holding you over. You want to feel full. Well, protein is the one that's going to make you feel satiated. So, like, why wouldn't you have protein? But most of our traditional snack foods are not protein, which maybe
Hmm.
that's where people have a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall, I would say start with planning out your meals. Decide a protein that you're going to include at your meals and your snacks. Meal prep as needed. I mean, hard rolled eggs are super easy to meal prep. Throwing chicken in a crock pot, super easy to meal prep. Pork tenderloin in the crock pot. Like, it does not have to be anything crazy. Plan it out, prep it as you need, spread it out throughout the day, and just slowly increase it. Like, just start with one meal and add like 5 to 10 grams of protein. That could be an extra ounce of chicken.
Yeah.
Super simple.
Yeah. Just get used to it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this week's episode, and we will be back next week with a brand new topic. Bye.
Bye.